Hi all, I'm just painting up the indicator warning lights on the front fenders because it says you can paint yellow. It's not yellow, it's orange. The way I do it is this: if you get some silver paint, I use AK Extreme Metal. You paint that first, so it's silver underneath, and then on top you paint Tamiya clear orange, and then it looks like that. And I think that's pretty convincing because the silver comes from underneath and it gives it like a candy appearance, and to me it looks like it. I'll do it all up and then I'll quickly show you when the whole tank's done, an overview. But this is another little teeny bit you can do on this to make it look more like a model without stripping it and without repainting it. Right, talk to you in a bit. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these down. It drives me nuts. You don't have to do this. I'm going to try and make some lenses for it and just cut them down. If you use one of these, you can get them from Hobbycraft, the little razor saws. When you cut through the LEDs, put some WD-40 on it because it helps it go through the plastic, because it grinds a bit. All of this paint, I think, works well with Tamiya NATO colours. So if you make a little mistake, you can touch it up, and I'll show you that in a minute as well. So let me just chop this and I'll show you what you're left with, and I'm going to show you how to make a lens. I've got two ways of doing it. I'm trying to think what's the easiest way to do it, and what everybody could do from the local hobby store. Anyway, without the aid of power tools and stuff. Anyway, so now to see with that cut off, how much better it looks. These LEDs are very, very, very long. So if you do that, it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. Alright, and there's the bit I chopped off. It's like the little nipple piece, basically. But just use some silicone WD-40 on your cutting blade, wherever I've put it. Here we go. On there, and it goes through a lot easier. Okay, so there's that, and I think that already looks better, don't you? I do anyway, because that looks silly. That looks like a toy starting to look like a model. All right, talking a bit, just a quickie. That's how you cut through it. So use the outside of the plastic housing as a guide to cut it flat down towards it. Don't cut your plastic. You just got to be careful with that though, okay? And if you don't do this, don't do it, all right? Right, this should work. You can buy this pipe cutter on Amazon, and this is metal tube. I think it's 8. To get some model sharp, where is it? Oh God, it's in Americans. 11/32. What's that? 8.2 millimeters, which is the same diameter as the light, and some thin plastic sheet. This will look better than nothing. It won't really look great like a headlight unless I can see if I can score it when I've done it. Let me have a think. See if I can score it with a knife. But this is still feasible for anybody to do. You don't need any special tools. I used a file. See what I've done is I've sharpened the end of the tube with a file so that it becomes a cutting point. And then what you do is you twat it with a hammer onto the plastic and it cuts a circle. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Punch and die basically, but a cheap one. Anyway, shall we see if it works? I meant to have said the reason why I need the pipe cutter is because you've got a massive bit of tubing and it won't work. You need it quite short, so when you hit it with a hammer it doesn't deform too much. And I've done that in that clear plastic to make it try and look like lines on the inside of a headlight. We'll see what happens. You never know, this could work. The only problem is I think I need to bring these down more flush to the inside of the thing. But you might not all have a mini drill, but most of you will have a normal big drill. I'm going to do it with that. If you can, so this is again stuff that shouldn't cost you too much money. I'm going to use one of these little, oh here we go, one of these little grinder bits. Oh come on, focus. Let's put it there so I don't focus on my fingers. One of these little grinder bits to grind that down a bit more flush. Yeah? Well, I suppose you could use a glass fibre pen as well. And then you can polish these back up again with car polish. That's all. Plastic polish. Anyway, right. But it's all available. It's nothing special. Let's see if this works. Back that into the plastic with a hammer. I think I may have just done a big circle in my cutting mat. Anyway, let's have a look. And there we have one vaguely convincing headlight. I'll see if I can get it to fit now. I'll do the other one. I would film this. Actually, let me see if I can just film doing this. 2 seconds, I'll put it on the stand. So here we go. Sharp end onto the, oh god, onto the line plastic, and don't worry, you'll hear virtually everything falling off of my workshop. Oh, there we go. Right. Voila. Okay. Headlight. So that's how it works. Now we've just got to try and fit them. Right. I think that worked quite well. I was going to paint silver on the insides, but I'm not really sure I need to. I think that looks all right. It's amazing what you can do with a hammer and a bit of brass tubing and some plastic sheet. And this is, like I say, already available, isn't it, in your local hobby store or anything. Hobby store, pound shop, Amazon. A knife, you can get an X-Acto knife and steel rule. So none of this is a massive amount of equipment. I am going to slightly lie to you. I was going to use a house power drill with the bit in, and it should have done the job still, but my battery's run out of charge and I wanted to get this done now. So I did use my Proxxon with the thing in. So I am sorry, I lied. But if you can afford one of these, you can get little cordless ones as well for not much money. Get a really cheap one. But this will work with a house drill. Oh, stop not focusing. This will work with a house drill. You can do it, I promise. So I've done it before when I was younger and I didn't have one of those. You just got to make sure that it's on the fastest setting, or else it would just take you forever. I was trying to think what other tool you could use as a hand tool that could do it, but I'm not sure. So you need a little drill. But if you're going to be making these tanks and playing with them, one of these is imperative, really. It's just, you can use it for so much stuff, and it's a worthwhile investment. You don't need one with all the fancy controller on it. Just get a cheap one that's even battery powered will do it. Because these tools are dental tools and they're quite sharp, and you know, you're just cutting down LEDs with it. But come on, that's a lot better, isn't it? I mean, how cool is that? I might just stick those on without painting them. Wait a minute, let's just... How much better is that than those bug eye things? And you see, I've not painted this or touched it. I have not touched it. This is a few silly little things that I've done to make it look a little bit more like a model kind of thing. Anyway, look, we'll go on to the next bit. So that's the headlight sorted. Hope this is interesting for people, and I'm going to try and keep these as little videos, so each one. Okay, have fun. I nearly forgot, I'm sticking them in with the star glue that I use for the vision blocks. You can probably get away with super glue, but it might frost it a bit. So you can get that on Amazon as well, so I'll put it in the link. I quite like this stuff for sticking lenses in. Or you can get from your model shop canopy glue. They'll do the same thing. Alright, but this, I don't mind this stuff. And you can use it for putting the backing films on the lenses. Anyway, right, this bit's over, I promise. Have a nice day. Bye. Hi everybody, and also I just thought I'd show you on this video that I've done the same at the rear. So I've leveled those LEDs down and I've put lenses in. And also leveled those LEDs down there. These are just painted. Okay, and what I did to make those red, I'd normally spray them, but I used, give me a tick, let me find it. Yes, I don't laugh. I used these. So you do the same thing, you just hole punch the red side out of that. It was cheaper than buying theatre filters for lights, gel lights. So just buy those. They were like £2.50 from Amazon. You get loads of them. You can walk around the street and people don't talk to you then. It's quite good. So then I cut that out first, and then I just cut the plastic sheet out again, same size, and then stuck them both in. So I think that looks better as well on there. And that's it for the lights. Okay. I was going to get this. It has like an outer circle in black, but I didn't want to do that because, like I said, I'm trying to keep this simple for everybody. Again, that is just twatting it with a hammer, and then you get what you want, sort of thing. So yeah, so there we go, and we'll put this on the end, and on to the next bit.